brought the bow back.
It's awesome.
You're just saying that.
I am just saying that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Wise Advice Podcast, episode 316. We are rocking and rolling in the studio. The folks in Discord are checking it out live. They get the opportunity to hear it as we go.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Pardon my voice. We're both doing the best we can today.
Man, we have been under the weather. Nothing serious, but just this head cold, sinus cold that's just will not quit. I think we're going on, 3 weeks?
2, since we've been back from vacation.
Yeah, since we come back from Florida. So that'll teach us to go to Florida for Thanksgiving holiday and get some sunshine and some fresh air and all that good stuff. The Indiana air is not quite the same, I would say.
No, it's killing us.
Oh, but yeah. So anyways, that's what's going on. So welcome to episode 316. Got a great show lined up for you. Got a lot to catch you up on. And then we'll talk about the holiday coming up, Christmas and New Year's, and Hanukkah has passed us at this point. Mm-hmm. So man, it's been a wild ride.
It's been very crazy. It's good though.
Yeah, it's been really good. It absolutely has been great. So, we're going to kick this episode off 316. Got an email coming in from Anna, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to kind of give you a little bit of a game plan as what we got planned. This holiday season for us is very busy. We got a lot going on. So I think what we're going to plan on doing, this will be the last episode of 2021, and we'll kick up fresh back in January. Is kind of the game plan. We'll see what happens when we actually get through the time plan. We got visitors coming in town. We got a lot going on. So just keep that in mind. There's always replays to listen to, as you guys certainly have figured out over the course of the year. So any updates for you, Janine, before we dig in?
No, just looking forward to getting my voice back. Teaching school all day with this has been a hoot.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you're a saint in that regard. I don't even know how you do it, but all right, let's go ahead and do this. This is what we want to talk about. Anna writes in, she says, "Hi, Fat Dag. This letter has been in the works for a long time. I started this program either in November 2016 or 17, right after my birthday and before Thanksgiving. I've been mostly half-assing the program. I know how to make the program work, and I just seem to not be able to get it in my mind, to get it in gear to do this correctly. Let me give you some of my background to my story. I grew up a big kid, always through school. My mom did her best as a single mom with 2 kids. In 6th grade, my classmates started to bully me all through 6th to 12th grade. I was bullied, so I turned to food and I turned to the TV as comfort as my mom worked to support us. Because of my weight being high, I never really dated much, so I was surprised when a cute guy came over to the grocery store and started talking with me. We dated for a while, and then he became my husband after 4 years of dating, going through grad school too during this time. Come to find out, his ex-wife is also heavy. I am heavy too. Apparently, he loves fat women. During the failed marriage, which is another whole story and a letter in itself, he wanted me to work out and get healthier, but still be fat. If I got below 300 pounds, he would call me ugly. So I went to the Curves gym where I could find time, and I did good. I'd lost about 35 to 40 pounds before the relationship went south. When I moved back home to my mom's house in October 2015, I wallowed in grieving my failed relationship. I grieved for the car that I lost in a bad accident on the way home. I was happy to be alive, but I just gave up on myself. Finally, I put my big girl panties on and I said to myself, I need to do something different with my life. I need to get over my failed relationship and I need to move on. I need to get healthier for myself and for my family. I found a job in my field in April 2016. I was still living at home and learning more about nutrition and supplements and getting on a healthier diet. I happened upon a coupon one day at work for Weight Watchers, so I took advantage of the online membership. I thought I was crazy being it so close to Thanksgiving to start a new diet, but something said, do it. You will do great at this. I started the plan and started tracking, and what a game changer. I started following some people on Connect, and I believe that's when I found you, Fat Dag. Following you on Connect, the Wise Wingman, the podcast, and now Discord has helped me through many different things in life. From when I found you in 2017 or 18 until now has not been pleasant. I have started walking more through the transition. I do remember you finding Marie and you seeing you walk and run the Disney Princess 5K that one morning. I had to cut the walk short due to not being able to walk that far. I did look for you after, and you were already in the Uber heading to shower and to the airport, if I remember correctly. I still have trouble walking long distances sometimes. I need to up my water, and I need to start tracking everything. Fast forward to October 2019, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. I became her caregiver. I was going back and forth between my place and her place, and I would go to her doctor's appointments minus the radiation treatment appointments. I would go to her chemotherapy, the infusion treatments, till COVID put a kaput on that. I was there for all 4 surgeries and everything. July 22nd, 2021, she lost her battle with breast cancer. It has rocked my world that my best friend is gone. I am slowly getting back on track day by day. In between the treatments and help with my mom, I still had my ex-husband calling and bothering me, which he is still doing. With a friend helping me, who is a lifetime returning to goal member herself, I have finally, I think, figured out my why. My why is to get my ex-husband away from me. I also want to make my mom proud that I got the weight off and I kept it off, and I want to get back to walking longer distances without huffing and puffing. So I am back to tracking, grieving, and walking day by day. I am not going to give up. It will take time, and it will be a learning curve to cook for one and not throw out food. I will figure this out, and I have a small tribe in town, and I have the wise wingmen cheering me on. Anna, we get these kind of emails from time to time, and my heart always breaks when we have to read them, because they're just things that happen in life that just come at us a million miles an hour, and it seems to be in some cases they get stacked on top of each other quicker than they should. Certainly in your case, this is what's going on, is that the things that you're dealing with are coming at you in succession so quickly that you're not having time from one incident to the next to take a moment and understand and grieve and properly let that work through your mind, right? And through all of it, you still have yourself to maintain and to take care of. And I tell you, one of the hardest things that I've figured out now, especially for me, one of the hardest things to do is to take care of yourself. It's much easier to take care of somebody else, because for a couple of different reasons. One is you can set the agenda and you can just do it, right? There's no discussion, there's no argument. You just do it. And so with ourselves, we battle with ourselves on how we're going to take care of ourselves. So in this moment where, obviously the primary thing going on in your life is the loss of your mom. And as devastating as that is you owe it to her, you owe it to yourself to say, you know what, let me use that. Let me properly grieve, because that is the first step. But after that, when things start getting back into a routine, when things start looking like they're, whatever that new normal is for you, that's when you get to define, okay, what is it that I really, truly want to do? And then that's when you put the wheels in motion to put them in place to do that for yourself. And that's what you need to recognize, is that when that time comes around, when things start getting in this routine again, if you're in a routine, anyone listening right now, if you're in a routine and that routine is not supporting your habits, your goals, and the lifestyle you want to have, well, that's when it's time to say, I need a new routine. If the routine you have is certainly goes and supports your goals, keep on it. But for the rest of us, we have to recognize if we're doing things day in and day out over and over, and they don't support the lifestyle we want, we've got to take a moment to pause and go, okay, now what in here can I tweak to get myself going in the right direction?
Absolutely. Excuse me. And I love what you said about, taking the time to make ourselves a priority. That is so hard for everybody in any situation. We will stop everything to make others a priority, but we don't stop everything to make ourselves a priority. We feel guilty saying no to others so that we can say yes to ourselves. And that's not okay. It's okay to say yes to ourselves and make others the second priority in our lives. And for so long,
why do you think we do that? Why do you think people do that as a rule? Because it happens to most of us do.
Human nature.
Yeah.
Human nature is to care for others. And I mean, you're taught from the time you're old enough to understand that we're nice to others. We do things for others. It's kind to help others. I mean, we teach that all day long in kindergarten. It's important to be helpful to others, but not at your own expense. So we need to quit feeling guilty for saying no to others so that we can say yes to ourselves. And I think, Anna mentioned the Wise Wingman group. And I think, we just need to take a minute here and say kudos to these people. They're like the silent heroes of this group. So many people depend on them. And I don't think the people in that group realize what an impact they have on others. It's huge. Just being here, listening, being a safe place to land for people is so much that they can do to help.
Well, especially now, right? I mean, because one of the things that we look at in this post-COVID world, it happened to us today that restaurants are closed, gathering places aren't the same as they used to be. And if they are the same, your social circle may not be comfortable going. And so you have to either rebuild it or find it online. And I get that finding it online is totally different. However, you're right. There's some amazing people that have reached out for support, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's unbiased support. It's just like unconditional support. That's what I was looking for. It's just unconditional. It's like, hey, how can we help you? Right. And there's a world of people that want to do that.
Absolutely. And there's a world of people who, even within that one little part of the world, that group, that Wise Wingman group, so many of them have gone through days that are hard, that are awful, that they feel like they're not going to pull out of. And then they come back later when they're in a better space and they turn around and help someone else who's in the same space they were. I think that's the best part about it, is they don't just come in, get what they need and walk away. They stay and help the next person in line. And that's just amazing.
Yeah, I think, when you look at, the loss of a parent is certainly up there, and you've of course experienced it, and thank God I have not, and but the time will come, right? There'll be something that happens to all of us, and but that's incredibly devastating. I watched it wreck your brain. I watched it wreck our family internally from a standpoint of just at a loss, and I mean, just for a little setting the stage here. Janine's mom and dad, both happily married to each other, only married once. My mom and dad, happily married, only married to each other. And so of the four of them, Janine's father was the youngest of the four and the first to pass away. And so it was a complete shock and a complete devastation to our bubble of life, right? And so, but what I want to capitalize on that is talk about, as devastating that is I watched you with your amazing strength. Right now I apologize for putting you there, and I didn't mean to go there, but your dad meant an awful lot to me too. But what I kind of want to capitalize on is, through all that, you found the good and you found the joy, and you found a way to kind of just piece it all together. And where I'm going with that for the rest of us is, this is coming. If it hasn't happened to you, unfortunately it will. Then you mentioned, Anna, in your episode, you mentioned, car accident, you meant, ex-husband, bullying. There are going to be things in all of our lives, and the list will go on for pages of things that have the opportunity to impact your journey. And what I want to kind of point out here is, each of them individually, yes, they're devastating. But what's going to happen is, we have got to internally find the way to be our best version of ourselves through that adversity. Because all this stuff, I hate to be that bearer of bad news. All of this stuff that happens will happen to all of us at some point. So not that it's certainly not that you put these words on paper, but it's not that we can use this as the reason why we're not doing well, right? We can't sit there and say, well, because of this, I'm going to go, self-medicate, or whatever the term is. We have to use that as our battle cry, as our foundation. Say, you know what, I can do better because I want to be better, and I want to I just want to take care of myself. And so I appreciate your why, Anna, and I think it's, I kind of laughed a little bit, chuckled the first time I read it is, hey, if when you get to goal, your ex-husband will no longer be interested, right? He will leave you alone completely. And I get that. And I chuckled when I read that. But the reality that comes true here is you have to do this for you. And we were sitting here just before we recorded the episode. We went and grabbed some lunch, and we were sitting down in the office eating. And there was a lady walking by, and she was carrying a small box. And then she kind of walked by later pushing the small box on a cart. I didn't think anything of it. Janine certainly didn't think anything of it. But this lady felt compelled to say something to us to make herself feel like, hey, I'm not pushing just as I have other things to pick up. So people are very concerned about what other people think. And I think the freest point in life is when you can get to the point where you're only concerned with what you think and you're doing things that matter to you and to you alone first. Then when there's time and effort left over, you can then reach out and, offer the rest of yourself to other people, but you have to put yourself as the priority.
Right. And you have to create the life you want. I mean, if you want things to be different, you have to do things differently. And I think one of the hard parts that nobody talks about on this journey or any journey is when you start making all of these big changes and trying to, totally redefine what your life looks like, you lose people along the way. And I think sometimes that stops people from progress because they feel like I'm making progress and now I've lost this person, or this person doesn't want to be in my life because now my life's changed and I'm doing this. And I think we have to look at those things as, we're clearing the path. We're going through this process to help us find the right people who are supposed to be in our circle. And your circle's going to change, and that's okay. We can't let that be a stumbling block either.
Yeah, no, I it's unfortunate, right? There will be people that the new version of yourself, they fell in love with a previous version of yourself. And let's just be clear on that too. Nobody knows you like you know you. So someone who's in love with a version of yourself doesn't know the full story of you anyway. So when they decide that whatever version of yourself you want to be is no longer compatible with them, then, it's okay if they move on. If there's an opportunity, they'll come back later. That's absolutely what the game plan is, but you have to make sure that you stay focused on it initially for you and for you alone. And then, build that version of yourself. And then you will start attracting other people who like that version of you now and can then continue to support that version of yourself. I think I got to look it up, but there's a quote that says something along the lines of, you are the sum of your 5 closest friends, or something along those lines, right? Your income will be very similar to that of your 5 closest friends. And I think what happens is as you spend time with 5 or 6 close people, you start sharing concepts and ideas. And so if you're all in agreement, then you build each other up and you lift each other up. But if you're the oddball out and, if you hang out with 5 people who love to go to the gym and you hate going to the gym, right, then the likelihood that relationships are going to teeter down the road. But if you can find 5 other people who love doing exactly what you're doing and you spend an awful lot of time with them, you'll build each other up and you'll grow together and you'll accomplish whatever goals you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. And the quote I was thinking of is similar to that. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whoever that is. And the other one I saw too that I just love is, your circle should want to see you win. They should be clapping the loudest Absolutely. When you win. And if they're not, get a new circle.
Yeah, that one needs repeating, right? This is not a competition. Life is not a competition. We are all in this together. So, right. When it comes to the getting healthy and a weight loss journey or whatever scenario you're in, if there's someone who's jealous of you or whatever, that is totally not acceptable. Every single person should be able to cheer on your success regardless of their own success. Mm-hmm. Because, man, we want to see each other win. And, really the reality is, especially in this community, is if you can win, then you can reach back and teach someone else what it looks like to win and how it feels to win. And that excitement is contagious.
I think people forget that more than one person can win. Just because someone is winning doesn't mean that, defeats your ability to win also. And I think that's one of the most important things about this group, about this podcast is that everybody here realizes everybody's having victories, be they big victories or little non-scale, small victories here and there. Everybody celebrates every victory because they know somebody else's victory doesn't take away from theirs.
Right.
And we need more people like that outside of this group. And unfortunately, that's harder to find.
Yeah, the sports world certainly has taught us that, right? There's only one winner. And if we can't definitively figure out who's going to win, we certainly don't call it a tie. We
Right.
go into overtime, right?
Right.
We can't share the success.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. But in this world, it is absolutely 1000% different. Everyone can get a trophy.
Right.
Right.
Right. Participation ribbons for everybody.
Yeah. No, but the concept is, you're right, is every single one of us can win. And it's an individual journey that takes some team effort, working together, pushing each other down in that right path. So,
Right.
Anna, thanks for the email. Thanks for writing in. I know sometimes, folks, it takes a little bit of strength to put some of these things on paper, and, it conjures up some emotions, and it gets you thinking about things. And I think sometimes the purpose of this podcast, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of struggling right now with the concept of what this podcast looks like, feels like going forward. And, it was wildly successful when we started it. When I download an episode, or when I release an episode now, it's still thousands of you are listening to it almost immediately, which just absolutely blows my mind. Amazing. But I got to figure out from the standpoint of, I know, things have changed in my own journey. And I know that, some of the times that I'm looking for answers just as much as you are. And at one point when I started the podcast, I felt like I had all the answers, and I felt like I had lots to share. And so right now it's more of a, there are days when I don't feel like I have anything to share. I feel like I need all my energy to figure out what it is I need to do internally to figure it out on my own. And so I tell you, I struggle sometimes going back and forth with the podcast is do I add value to your journey? And, and I know that I'm going to get a bunch of you saying, yes, you do. And I get that. And I appreciate that. But internally, I still struggle with that conceptually, is because I want to feel like I'm helping you. And I know that when we talked about, you're the sum of the 5 closest people, I know that, if my attitude comes off as not 100% engaged, 100% locked in, 100% dialed in, then sometimes that gives somebody else permission who was on the fence, gives them permission to kind of dial it back a little bit too. And I don't want that to happen to you. And so I tell you, that's where I'm struggling with right now. I'm kind of going to take the next couple of weeks to think through what that looks like, what that feels like to the podcast. And then we'll come back in January. Janine and I have been talking an awful lot lately of what getting healthy looks like for me. Medically, I still got some things I just got to get ironed out. I don't know. I don't have an answer for any of that, but the desire is there, and the dream is there, and the fuel is there, and I got the right support to take me there. So that's what I have there. Anything on that, or anything on something any different?
No, I think as we head into the holiday season, it seems like in the past when we've done the podcast, it's always been the, prepare ahead of time. Think about your points. Think about what you're going to be eating. Prepare for all the gatherings. Prepare for, everything centered on points, tracking, weight loss, continuing. And I think this year my mindset has changed a little bit with that. And I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, regardless of what you're doing, where you're going. Enjoy it. It has been a crazy couple of years. Enjoy the time, enjoy the family, the friends, and just having those experiences again that we take for granted. And after the last 2 years, I think we realize how precious those moments are, because you don't always get them again.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, right now life is crazy. And then we're trying to just getting back to doing the things that we love and enjoy, regardless of what the scale says. But for me, there comes a time where, some of the things I enjoy, they're not as fun when the scale doesn't agree with me. So I want to get back into that, to be able to enjoy those things, because I'm healthy enough to enjoy them. We've been having a lot of fun lately. We went to the Chris Kindle market. If you didn't see that on wherever I posted, I think Instagram and Connect, but Janine bought me this gorgeous cuckoo clock from the Black Forest, come out of Germany. And I've wanted one of these things forever. And this is kind of a funny little story. So the very first time I ever deployed, 1997, we were going into Hungary, Bosnia, all that stuff over there. And on the way in, we stopped in Germany. And that was where the plane landed. And so we took off. We spent a couple nights in Germany. And I saw this at the exchange there. They had this gorgeous handmade German cuckoo clocks. And that was my first time ever out of the United States, other than Canada, which I don't think counts, but that was my first time over across the ocean. And I wanted one of these clocks. I was like, I don't even know how old I was in 97, but how old, you do the math for me.
24.
I was 24 years old. And I fell in love with this concept of a German cuckoo clock, and it had some significant meaning to me. And but certainly going into I wouldn't say war zone, but going into an unknown area, I wasn't going to take this cuckoo clock with me, and I wasn't going to ship it home. So I said, well, I'll get one on the way back. On the way home, it just didn't work out. And the next thing I know, I'm back in the United States and don't have the ability to get one. A couple more times throughout my career, I ended up going through Germany again for different reasons and seeing cuckoo clocks, and I kept thinking, I want one. And every time we went to look at them, the price of them just seemed to be getting higher and higher and higher. Anyway, long story short, I know you're probably asking why I'm talking about cuckoo clocks, but it ties in. We were at this German market that's here in town, and there was these cuckoo clocks, and we saw one, and Janine actually pointed the one out that she ended up getting for me, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's handcrafted. There's a Santa and a reindeer, and then another deer on the other side. The cuckoo bird comes out, sings on the hour. And it just brings so much joy to our home. I know it's the littlest of things, but I'm telling you, on the hour, every hour, we stop what we're doing and we listen to the cuckoo bird and we pause and reflect. And it's that type of stuff that you just can't get back. And it's that type of stuff that we need to start placing some value on, and some reasonings behind why we are, keeping ourselves actively, happily engaged and healthy, so we can enjoy more of life's little moments that mean way more than did I eat 2 cookies or 3 cookies. Even though that is important, there is a bigger story to life that we need to celebrate. And so tying it all together, the healthier you are, the longer you can enjoy those things. And that's what we're really after. So this holiday season, Christmas for us, Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. Man, I tell you, it has been a joyous season for us. We've had an amazing time of just, we sponsored a couple of families in town. We bought all the gifts from the moms and the dads and the kids for 2 different families. Janine's getting a little, jokingly, but Janine's getting a little annoyed with me because on Twitter, I found a hashtag called the Great American Tip-Off. And the concept is just be overly generous with the service industry right now. So if you follow the Fat Dag account on Twitter, you'll see why Janine is telling me to slow it down just a little bit. But we're having an awful lot of fun putting smiles on people's faces. And I think that's what's doing it for us right now, is more than anything, the things that's bringing us joy is knowing that we can bring others joy. And I think this time in our world, if you have an opportunity to put a joy and a smile on somebody else's face, that is your priority. That is your responsibility, to lift somebody else up, be there for them, and take care of whatever needs that they have, knowing that when you take care of yourself first, that becomes even easier to do.
Absolutely. I think that's, the biggest thing. We talked about this last week, is finding the things that bring you joy, finding things that make you want to be healthier and want to be better so that you can do more of the things you love. I mean, we've talked a lot about, things we would like to do, and it's just been a little bit harder for you to do a lot of them lately. So we're trying to get you healthy, not just eating well, but also your medical stuff taken care of as well. But certainly, when you eat well, you feel well. That's just really the bottom line. Whether you're counting the points or not, doing the things that fuel you, not only in your body so that you have the nutrition you need, but fueling your brain and your spirit is very important, especially this time of year, because it's not a happy season for everyone. For some people, it's very, very hard. And I think finding whatever little thing you can do to bring joy to your life, whether it's through helping others or doing something special for yourself, whatever it is, that's really what this season is about, is bringing joy somewhere in your life, either through helping others or helping yourself. Yep.
That's a great note to end on, is that we have that responsibility to each other as humans, right? Mm-hmm. It just puts smiles on people's faces. And, for us, this is an amazing time of year, and we know that for not everybody it is. And so, be that person for somebody else to help them get through these times, or to help them celebrate these times, and and really just, Merry Christmas to all of you. Like I said, we will take some time off here. Who knows, we may pop in one day, but we have some company coming in town for a time. So I know that we won't spend a lot of time over in the studio during that time. Then we'll look at the calendar coming in January, getting back into it and rocking and rolling forward. So on that note, thank you to all of you. Very excited to have you here. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for your emails. Flood the inbox while you're gone. Tell me what's going right in your life. Tell me what's going really good. Let's share those. Email is onair@fatdag.com. And let's just see where this whole thing goes. So remember that more than anything, I believe in you. And I know those words, that to me, they're not empty words. It's truthful. You have the ability to just take care of yourself. It's the easiest thing that we can do, even though it's the hardest thing to do, is putting yourself first. And so I believe that if you want to do this, you have the power to do it. There are plenty of examples of people who have faced difficult times and adversity and who have succeeded in changing their life. So if they can do it, you can do it. I can do it. I believe in you. I wish you good focus, because this journey does not take luck. This journey takes you wanting it every single day, getting up, going after it, and making it happen. So on that note, cheers. We thank you, and God bless, and talk to you soon.